So this is all now dry, the buildings, and we're going to work up some more of those, excuse me, in terms of the light and the shadows. Some artists will just go darker with the original colour and might drop in a tiny bit of other pigment to create shadowed areas, like we've got a shadow there, and there's a shadow here. It's okay, I don't mind it. I use it now and again, but I tend to pop in shadows in a slightly different way. But for the moment, we're just gonna pop them in by making these slightly darker, and I'm going to touch in some of this sort of grey mixture just to do its own thing, especially near the tops of roofs. There we go. By doing its own thing, I mean it'll just blend and bleed down as it feels necessary, really. Just pop in some of that mixture in here just to darken off this area. Now I want the focal point to be around here. I know we earlier in my sketch of this, we were trying to get the eye to go there, but it was really about perspective. In reality, the eye is going to come to the darkest dark and lightest light, which is around this area. Okay, so we'll try and go light, dark, light, darker, for example. So that's the idea. So we need to leave this light, so going light and dark all the time, if that makes sense. So we can come in slightly darker in here to create that. And the eye should stay around here before it goes off around other parts of the painting. And I'm going to touch in some cobalt, some blue, so we'll pop in a few blue tones down in the distance. That's always a good idea, a good plan, to get some blue tones off in the distance. We'll take a weaker mix of that and just pop that out there. Just want to run this up a bit higher. It's all looking a little bit it's just a line. I want to change that slightly. I'm not too happy with that. As an artist, that doesn't work for me. Neutral tint, burnt umber into the mix. There we go. That's better. We'll pop in some darker tones in here. Not everywhere. Just let them really do their own thing. You have to keep an eye on the paint, because sometimes, even though it's great to, as we say, let it paint itself and blend and bleed everywhere, sometimes it might get invaded and the tones might be a little bit too overpowering for what you had originally intended. So we'll keep an eye on those. This point in question is coming down here. Now, when we talk about lost and found edges, that's edges that you can see them sharp and they lose and they go all vague and then they come back again. It's kind of happening here in the top of this eave. If we pop in some water, clear water, I'll just show you how to get a little edge like that, and we'll just go there. There we go. There's a lost and found edge. I'll pop in some more clear water. Remember, it's watercolour. Just and that'll blend and bleed and do its own thing in there. Just popping in some warmer tone here, this umber. And I know this is wet and we're sort of suggesting windows and things with this. It's still quite wet. I quite like it when it bleeds in places, and we can always come back to this. When it's dry. Just have to keep our eye on this awning here. This is going to be some dry brush work. You'll see it kind of under the awning and here. There we go. Using the same mixture. I'm coming over some of these heads. Heads are interesting. They're kind of little oblongs, really, mostly. Not always. Don't need to define those too much. Different shapes, different angles is always good. So I was saying earlier, if you've got the heads kind of roughly in a line, so if we drew a line across here, that always seems to work really well, but as you go backwards the heads need to get smaller. Okay. Try and join things up as well. One thing mixing or joining to another. Just going to bring in a touch of this dry brush on this Skoda number 6 brush. Lovely little brush here. It's kind of just going over some of those sort of marks that I'm taking the eye into the painting. We're kind of about done there. I'm just going to bleed in some of this mixture and add some alizarin to it. Just see what happens. I'm not sure how that's going to come out. Looks quite strong to me. I quite like all this blurry stuff. So remember, light and dark, we've got that going on there. I might just touch in some warmth here to let that do its own thing as well. There we go. I'll take that down at a sharper angle. You kind of dice in with death sometimes when you paint watercolours, when you're painting into wet, because of course it will bleed, and you just need to understand what effects that will create before you commit. Novices just, which is great, have a practice round, but you need to learn something from your mistakes is the point. And if it's too strong, too powerful, you don't like it, tissues are great just for dabbing things out and just creating some textures as well. But remember, we need some soft edges, some hard lines and so on. Dry brush, wet into wet, the whole kind of mixture really. Just roughly keep that, and the pencil work will come through, which is nice. Yeah, okay, so it's looking quite nice at the moment. I'm going to leave that for the second, except for the final little thing. And we have to be, we can use the edges of your masking tape or another piece of paper to take out pigment if you want to start to bring in things like paving. It might be too strong, that. in terms of the paint we've put on there. Remember, these things will always dry back lighter, but sometimes they can over dominate. If they do, quickly get a tissue in there before it takes over. Okay, we'll come back and work on some more figures once this is dry. Getting near the end now.